Hey, it's Nay, and welcome back to Nay's Little Garden and Home. So, in the last video, I told you guys I talked to you about my Renee's order because I had it, but I was still waiting for my Johnny's order. Well, that came in. I also want to do a little update on the garden itself. So grab you a drink, grab you a snack. All right, let's hop, skip, jump right into it. So I have here 5 seed packets. 2 of them I did actually need. Did I need the other 3? No, but I'm gonna explain to you why I got them. So let's hop into the ones that I actually needed and will be harvested. Some of these seeds will in fact be planted out within the week. This is the Alpine F1 Hybrid Daikon Radish. I'm pulling up because I just want to read the description. The only thing that's a little annoying about Johnny's is they don't put the picture. So it's just a traditional Korean radish with exceptional flavor. Actually, I'm gonna, can I show this to you? Can you guys see? So it's just like a regular daikon radish. Are sweeter than the long white Japanese types, a better choice than the longs types for rocky soil and better flavor, especially in warm weather. Bolt tolerance makes it suitable for spring and summer sowings for fresh use, pickling, fermenting, and storage. So I don't know about storage, we'll see. I really don't intend to grow an insane amount of these. I do just want to start adding radish to my garden because I am growing carrots and I am growing cabbage, hopefully successfully grows. And then with the daikon radish, I can attempt to make kimchi. And I'm gonna try to do that for sure, as well as other recipes. And radish is just another root crop that apparently can store at least a little bit. It was $6.45 and you get 100 seeds. I also got another type of radish because that radish takes, if you hear screaming, those are my children. It is what it is. So it says that this can last for 6 to 10 weeks. That's a good amount of time if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Wow, okay. Anyway, this says from date of direct seeding. 55 days, which is pretty quick. I have about 72 days left in before my average last frost, so I'm not really concerned, which is why I still bought it in the first place, because I'm like, I'm sure I'll make it. Even if you add 10 days to that, that's still 65 days. I still feel like we have plenty of time. But I did go ahead and grab the mini mac, which is just a smaller Korean radish for pickling and fresh use. I am excited about this. It's just a smaller, doesn't have a green shoulder, looks like just a completely white. I'm excited about this because this is 50 days, it's faster, and I think mini versions of things is just cute. Let me know if you agree. I just feel like that's good to have them both. And what I'll probably do is next year, in the beginning of the year, I'll plant out the mini ones just to have some small ones, because I'm sure by then I'll have a couple recipes I could put them in or even have raw. And so I think doing this would be great, and then we'll see how the bigger ones grow this year. Let's see here. This does, yeah, so the smaller one also stores well, because I know sometimes the smaller ones don't store as well. So I got 2 types of tomatoes and a pepper. The tomatoes really was obnoxious. I really didn't need them. This is solely a want, but wants that potentially can make a lot of sense. So don't judge me too much. Let's get into the pepper first, because I do think there's a reason for this. So I got a hybrid greenhouse pepper. This is the Mylena. I believe it's, ooh, I just typed that in, it didn't pop up. Hold on. So this is basically I got the mini version of this, which made me feel like I wasn't spending as much money, which is, you know, true. There's only 10 seeds in here, and there's 10 seeds because it's a mini pack. This is the updated version of like another pepper that a lot of people have grown. It's a bell pepper. Resilient plants perform well in both low-tech greenhouses and unheated tunnels. The medium large to large fruits are deep orange and have very good flavor. I did not grow enough peppers this year. I am swimming in tomatoes, and I have been swimming in tomatoes for a couple weeks now. My onions are insane amounts. I feel like I grew a good amount of onions. I feel like I grew a ton of tomatoes. And I feel like when it came to peppers, I could have grown more sweet ones, as well as more squash plants. They're growing. However, I feel like if I want to, so this year I'm trying to go for about 2 months. I want to do about 2 months in which I don't really touch the grocery store. Now, I'm just keeping a buck. I do have children, small children. They do take snacks that I don't make from scratch to school. So as I'm also now stocking up on snacks to be able to do that 2 months, and we'll go through that process together. I just really want to see if it's even feasible. Is that something that I really could do? And I'm doing it down during the roughest months, which is going to be November and December. And I'm gonna make something shake. Freezing peppers is not my favorite thing to do, but when it comes to cooking it into things, it doesn't bother me. I froze a couple little small bags last year, and I used them. And I didn't see any difference because peppers saute get soft anyway. I just wanted to show you. So I got the 10 pack instead of the mini one, instead of the regular packet, which has 25 seeds, because I do have other non-spicy peppers I can also grow. I just want to give this a chance because this specifically is saying that it's good for in the greenhouse. Now, I have 3 raised beds in my greenhouse and then like small like grow bag type stuff. I am most definitely going to only grow 2, max 3 tomato plants in that greenhouse, or my little polytunnel. I will grow a lot more peppers in there. A lot more being, I only have 2 and I'm looking towards 4 to 5. And I have the small little grow bag things that I will also put some small peppers in there too that are gonna be sweet. Because when it comes to, I haven't bought a pepper, onion, garlic, or tomato in a couple weeks. But I also haven't been using a ton of peppers either, except for one dish, which is my peppers and sausage, and that uses more. And I feel like I just need to grow more. I feel like I could grow 10 less tomato plants and grow 10 more pepper plants and feel good. I think, like, I'm shooting for a very low number right now because I just like to grow peppers, but I feel like that's where I'm leaning towards right now. And then I'll be able to add an extra 3 or 4 more pepper plants on top of that because I have a raised bed I'm only partially using. Maybe. Because now I'm also potatoes and sweet potato. But we'll get into that in a second. So I'm very excited about this Mylena. I want to test it out. One of my favorite YouTube couple for gardening on here was talking good things about this. So it's 60 days to green, 80 days to orange. So almost 3 months to get to orange. So I'll probably pick some of these at green and then also leave some for orange. The last 2 are tomato plants. Y'all, I had to. Let me explain why. The first one is a heirloom. And that's one of the main reasons I bought it. I want to slowly stock up on Listen, a hybrid is gonna do it. I'm gonna have a sun gold cherry tomatoes in my garden for forever. Okay. However, I definitely do think it's very logical to have heirlooms in your garden so you can save seeds and know exactly it's gonna come from those seeds. You can save hybrid tomato seeds. they're going to grow a tomato you can probably consume and have absolutely no problems with. But what type of tomato, what is it going to be? We just don't know because it's a hybrid. So all different things, different characteristics, all types of things can pop up. So I bought this. This is the Carbon. It's a highly productive black heirloom, resists cracking and cat facing better than other large black heirlooms, producing a higher proportion of marketable fruit. I'm not really concerned about marketable fruit as in I'm going to sell my produce. No, I'm just more concerned about when it comes to using my produce, am I going to be looking at insane produce? Is parts of it going to rot than others because of the cat facing type of vibe? So 10 to 14 ounce is a good size. Boasts a signature rich flavor and meaty texture of a classic black tomato. Excellent yields and fruit quality for an heirloom. Productive over a longer period than similar types. Indeterminate. This is something I'd be interested in growing over a polytunnel, over my arch trellis, my little, catapanel. There's 25 seeds in it. It says 76 days to maturity. That's typically from 6 to 8 weeks of growth. I'm excited for this. Next year, I will try this out. I just heard it's a delicious tomato. My Queen of the Night and the Thornsburn Terracotta is eating everything up taste-wise for me. They're just like the bigger tomatoes, not the cherry tomatoes. The bigger tomatoes, raw. I will eat those on my fresh bread. Like I make sourdough and I make yeast bread and stuff like that, and I make cocoa bread, stuff like that. And I will eat those easy with a little chili oil, a little salt, a little pepper, the tomatoes, and I will just eat it like that. But I also like to just grate a little bit of cheese on there. It's one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life, and I feel like the Carbon will jump into that. There's a few tomatoes I really do like, but those two are like been topping it for this year for me. This is the Mountain Fresh Plus. This is a hybrid. I am hearing too many compliments of the Mountain series. So there's a bunch of tomatoes that start with the word mountain, and it's like mountain, I don't know. I was gonna start making up names, but you get what I'm saying. Mountain Fresh, it must be one because this is the Mountain Fresh Plus. This is the most widely grown market tomato in the East and the Midwest. That already sold me. So when I was looking at the Mountain series, there's several mountains. There's several mountains tomatoes. This one caught my eye because it looks to me very similar to, this tomato here. This is the Bonnie Best. This is the Mountain Fresh Plus. I am healing my not disdain, that's a very strong word, but my previous issues with paste tomatoes. I do have 2 varieties that I'm growing that I'm really liking right now. But when it comes to a slicing tomato that I would also be able to make sauce from, I went ahead and got the super cubes, super as in like soup with the ER in the end, to freeze a lot of this. The biggest issue I had with just freezing my tomatoes is I just froze the tomatoes. So then I had to do the long process of letting it melt down in the pot, then cook down, then, you know what I mean? Then blend up, and which is okay sometimes, but I'm just keeping it a buck. Sometimes that's too much work. And so I want to do that work now. And then, oh my gosh, I was about to be like, guys, I have no more Bonnie Best. No, I have a ton in here. There's over 20 in here for sure. What was I saying? So now with the super cubes, I will be able to cook down, which I'm going to start tomorrow. I have an insane amount of tomatoes for me downstairs right now, and a lot are starting to ripen. I feel like I'm plucking tomatoes every other day. Not feel like, I definitely am. I feel like my husband would say, you are picking tomatoes every other day, and not like 1 or 2. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say they're ripening. They're ripe on my table, and I have the supers coming tomorrow. So I'm gonna make a batch of tomato sauce. So that could be the pasta sauce or tomato soup. Freeze that, because it's gonna take a couple hours for me to let it cook down, because I want it to cook down nice. Freeze that, and then take them out and put them in the freezer gallon bags and put that in my freezer. This way, when I don't feel like doing that whole process, because I still have tomatoes in my freezer right now from last year. And part of the reason it's not been used because of the process I have to go through it. And I feel like I don't have an issue with tomato sauce that came from frozen. It still tastes good. I just think for some reason it requires more seasoning for it to taste good. Let me know if you have that happen to you. Anyway, I got the Mountain Fresh Plus because it looks similar to this. There are a minimum of 40 seeds in here. Able to tolerate cool and wet conditions. This big red tomato produces attractive 8 to 16 ounce slices with good flavor. The one thing I can say, so they're both about 75 days to harvest, I think. This new one definitely is. It's taking Bonnie Best a minute to ripen. But those tomatoes, I don't have one ripened one yet. We're in August. They are such perfectly round, beautiful, nicely sized without being too big tomatoes that I just wanted to have another grouping of that. So if I grow 2 Bonnie Best next year, I want to grow 2 of these, and then I get kind of 4 of the same grouping. Tomatoes that I was growing that I kind of have that similar-esque vibe, it's a little different but similar, is the Inca Jewel container Roma tomatoes and the Bush Roma Supremo. I have beef with this tomato because this is also a hybrid, but it is one of the biggest, most productive tomatoes I've seen and grown ever. Like this paste tomato is defying a lot of things. They put this in a smaller bag. Now, I'm not acting like I don't have any. I still have some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have about 8 in here. I low-key want to grow 5 next year. I won't probably. I'll probably start about 4 because it does have a high starting date. But these 2 are creating insane amounts of tomatoes. The Inca Jewels are smaller, but it's even more. It's just a lot of tomatoes on these plants. And these are determinate plants. But they're not growing like a small batch of tomatoes. How else can I say this? Tomato plant gets big, but not tall. Tomato plant produces insane amount of tomatoes. And the tomatoes are pretty, and they're growing in these clusters. So you're getting about 6 to 10 tomatoes in one grouping, and then they're just relaxing on the leaves. I have a bunch of shorts where I've been doing every week, let's check on my garden, because this app is pushing shorts. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views on all of them. I have like almost 1,000 views on a couple of those videos. So go check them out so you can really see what I'm talking about. It's insane. And they're starting to like ripen. The Inca Jewel ones are starting to ripen, and the Supremo just started, I think like yesterday, ripening. It's gonna be an insane amount. Like this is the type of tomatoes where they're like, you gotta can, or you have to quickly like get them into the freezer, because you will start feeling like you're being watched by a bunch of tomatoes in your house. Like, it's absolutely amazing. These 2 are amazing. So the Bonnie Best also is producing a lot of tomatoes. It's just taking longer to ripen, and that will be that's okay, because I grow cherry tomatoes and smaller tomatoes. I'm gonna do another video updating you how I feel about the tomatoes that I started and which ones actually are growing stuff, because I grew a bunch of stuff and I don't have all that stuff in my garden somehow, some way. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching this whole video. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.